have noticed recently on Instagram that collage style effects are really trending at the moment. It's really popular to create graphics that have a collagey feel to them, that feel almost handmade and have this personality to them. It's because we are really wanting to see more personality and humanness in design. With more and more people using AI, I think we're really looking for more personality and really being able to connect with people, having something that feels more human and scrappy and a little bit messy. And so this style is really popular because it feels more personal. It feels like somebody's putting more of their personality into something. It's a little bit messy, it's got so much more personality, and it feels more real and personal. So if this is a style that you'd like to try out and experiment with, in this video I'm going to show you a few different techniques that you can use in Canva to create that scrapbooky effect. If you really love this style but you're struggling to actually put it together in a design because everything you do feels a bit too messy, you're trying to work out how can I create this fun sort of collagey style but still make it look like a nice design. Well, I do have a few templates including Pinterest pins and Instagram graphics, so if this is a style you're interested in but you want a bit of a head start or some help with layouts and stuff like that, then you can check out the link for those templates in the description below. So let's have a look in Canva, some different techniques that we can use that we can create that collagey feel. So first of all, we have a cutout. So there's a variety of different ways we can do cutouts here. So we can have just plain cutout, the background gone. We can have the background gone and then an outline so it looks a bit like a sticker, you know, that whiteness around it. We can also have an image that's cut out but still keep the background, so it just sort of pulls an image out of the background, so it sort of feels a bit like a sticker but we're keeping that background there behind it. We also have a really rough cut, so it feels like it's just been cut out with scissors really roughly. And then we also have a variation of that where we've got white behind, so we've got that plain background, but it's still got that choppy sort of cutout where it feels like someone's just hacked at it with scissors quickly. So this gives you a real variety of effects that you can use to create that cutout style, so depending on what you prefer. So let's have a look at how we actually do these. So I'm just going to duplicate this page and we're going to go through each of these. Alright, so first of all, you want to grab your image. So we've got this image here. So we're going to make a copy and bring it over here. So the first one is background remover. Now the background remover tool is a pro tool, but if you do not have pro and you still want to get this effect, you can just go into Google and put in background remover tool, and there are quite a lot of free ones out there. So you can put in your image, remove the background, and then you want to save it as a PNG and bring it back into Canva. So you go to uploads and upload it. So there is that workaround. Obviously that takes a bit more time going to another website, uploading it back to Canva. So that's where having pro can be worth paying for because it saves you time, but there is that workaround if you still want to be able to do this. So all we have to do is just click background remover and it removes the background. So that one's a really, really easy one. Now we can also remove the background and then add an outline. So what we want to do once we've removed our background is then go to edit. Then we want to choose here shadows, outline, and now we can decide how thick we want that outline, what color you want it, and also the intensity. So if you wanted it slightly transparent, you can, but really if you want that stickery look, usually white and a nice thickness, not too thick but not too thin, looks quite good. But as you can see, there are different ways you can do this. It's completely up to you. Now we have our magic grab outline. So this one, we have our full image. And again, we're going to use a tool that is pro, but you could achieve this for free by just getting your image in there, going to a website where you can remove the background and just basically putting it on top. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to click to edit. Going to come over here to magic grab. Now we can click on the area we want it to grab and grab. It's also got a brush there, so if you don't like what it's selecting, you want to be able to select a certain area manually, you can choose the brush and just color in the section you want. But I find it's actually pretty good at picking things up. So then what we want to do once we've grabbed it is to give it that oomph. So what we want to do again is do outline. So go to outline here and we're giving it that outline. So we're basically doing similar to this, that background remove outline, but this time we're keeping the background. So it can be a good tool if you want to keep that background, you don't want to put something else behind it, but you want to sort of pull that bit of image out. So now we have our choppy crop. So for this one, we're going to go to apps and you put in choppy crop. Now what you're going to do is just use your mouse and cut around where you want it to cut. Now obviously that's tricky because it's quite small, But that's sort of the look, is that we want it to look a bit choppy and not perfect, basically. We want it to look like someone just quickly grabs some scissors and cuts something out without trying too hard to do it too perfect. So you want to go right round till you meet that original bit and click. Shows you a preview there, and we can then press add to design. So now this one takes a few more steps, the white plus choppy crop. So if you want it to look a bit more like this here, where it looks like it's got the white background, but then it's got that cutout, what we need to do is first remove the background. You're going to make a new page that's white. Now you can either download this, so go to share, download, or if you want to sort of do it really quickly, you can actually just screenshot. So if you just screenshot on your computer, just select that area, you can do it really quickly that way. So now coming back here, we want to go to uploads. I'm going to upload that one with the white, and we can choose choppy crop again. And basically we're doing the same thing as that original choppy crop, but now we've got an image that is white behind. So that just gives you another style and look. So I just want to show you the different options here so that you can decide what's best for the look you're trying to create. So you can know, what options are there. And there we have our various cutout styles. So our next one is outlines. This can be really cute. All right, so we've got our image. Now, obviously this is a cut out image, but with an outline, it's really up to you. You can bring in a PNG, you can remove background on something, you can find an image that, that's already cut out, whatever you want to do. So we've got one that we basically already did, which was to go to effects, shadows, and give it that outline. So that's probably the most common way to just quickly add an outline. Now, another technique we can do is actually draw in an outline. So there's two different ways we can do this. So first of all, we can go over to tools here, choose the pen, and then you can choose which pen you like, choose a color, and then you're basically just going to manually draw around. So this can look really sketchy because it's all hand done. Now, if you want a bit more control over it, you could do this on an iPad with an Apple pen, but it's up to you because it just is rough. It just makes it real fun and playful. And as you can see here, you can change the weight, transparency, choose different types. So there's different, styles that you could basically create by what sort of thing you add. And you don't necessarily just have to do a single outline. You can get real playful with it and add lots of lines around it. And it just really adds some fun to it. It sort of adds some movement too. So if you're trying to add some movement into a design that's really scrapbooky, adding some hand-drawn lines like that can be a really fun way to give it that sense of movement. So this one here is another really fun one, and it uses an app. So let's just get rid of these. So this one, what we want to do is go to apps, and we want to type in border art. So we've got this one here, Border Art Maker. Now, what you want to do is you either can draw your own, so it's up to you if you want to actually draw your own path, if you want to do it yourself, or you could try the detect from image. So you might want to try the detect from image first, see how it turns out. If it's not quite what you were after and you want a bit more control, you can go back and try with the draw your own. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you actually do the detect one. So we're going to, here it says select image, so you make sure you've clicked your image. It's going to pick up on that image. Now what we can do is decide what style we want. So you've got all these different types. We can just have a basic outline. We can do different shapes. There's all sorts of different ones to choose from, like clouds, leaves, heaps of different stuff. So something like this, like dots, can be really fun. Then you want to choose what color you want it to be. Now you'll also notice here it also has custom. So if you actually had an image or some sort of graphic you wanted to go around it, you can actually bring in your own as well, which is really cool. So now we've got the layout of it, so you can decide the size, how big you want them, the spacing between. So this is something where you can play around. If you play around, you can see that little preview up the top there. But if once you put it in, it's not quite right, you can always go back in again. So I would keep an eye on what your settings are, so that if you need to go back, you know what it originally was, and then you can consider, what you might want to adjust to get just the look you're after. All right. So then we're going to add to design. It's going to give us this, so it's not going to sit on it right away. We've got to resize it. And then we've got our outline. So again, that is another really fun one. Now, other fun things that we can add to create that scrapbooky feel is things like these sketchbooky style things. So again, we can use that draw tool and just draw little doodles and things like that into our things. So again, we go to tools, draw, choose a pen, choose the color, choose a thickness, and just have fun and draw things. So what's great is then you can create things that no one else has because you've drawn it, and it feels very personal then. Now, if you don't feel very confident with the drawing, or you want something that feels a little bit more polished, you can also use elements. So if you go into elements and type in hand drawn, as you can see, there's lots of different fun little hand drawn type feel elements. So you can try hand drawn or sketch. So sketch feels a little bit more detailed, whereas hand drawn feels a little bit more cute. So it depends on the style you want. And as you can see, there's heaps of different fun elements that you can use. Now we have fonts. So with fonts, you want something that feels sort of hand drawn. So I've grabbed a few of my favorite ones here. So we've got Hibernate, FF Providence. This is probably one of my favorites, Biro Script, because it feels like you've written it with a biro, and AC Real Adult. And too, if you want to try and explore for more, if you want to try and find your own that you like, you can just put in handwriting. And there are heaps of different handwritten fonts here. You can feel free to go through and find one that you like the style of, but I thought I'd share a few of my own favorites there. Now finally, elements. So obviously we want elements that feel scrapbooky, and there are heaps within Canva. So we can look for things like Polaroid frames, different sort of film things. So you want to type in things like Polaroid or film or Instax, and you're going to find those sort of frames. You can also put in tape. So if we just put in tape, there are heaps of different fun tapes, and these are great for putting over things to make them feel like they've been stuck down. There's also heaps of different papers, so you can put in paper or note paper or scrap. So try different search terms like that, and as you can see, there are heaps and heaps of different elements that you can use. Another fun thing is different types of pins, so different things to stick things down. So we had the sticky tape here, but there's also things like pins. So all you need to do is just type in pins, and we've got various different types of pins here, or you can put in clip, various types of paper clips, or you just put in paper clip. As you can see, there's plenty there to choose from. Now you also have different styles. You've got the graphics, and you can put in photos and have a more photo style. So it depends if you want it to look more realistic or drawn. So I quite like using the photo ones, using the more realistic looking ones. So just keep that in mind too. And of course, other little scrappy bits too. So you can put in things like magazine cutout, and you'll find lots of little cutout pictures, or even just cutout, scrapbook. And see, there's heaps of different elements. It's just about picking those key terms that is going to help you. And as you can see here, it actually starts suggesting things. So things like scrapbook stickers. And it's going to bring some other ones up. And if you're looking for something in particular, like you wanted a camera or a heart, obviously you can add that too to the search terms to help find those elements.
So have fun experimenting with this. It really is a playful experimental style. Try and find something that suits your own brand and shows a bit of your personality. There are so many different ways that you can utilize this style. There is no one set way, and that's what's so fun about it. It's just about adding personality to your graphics, making things feel a little bit more like they've been handmade rather than just computer generated.
And as you're creating your collage graphics, if you're trying to look for an element in Canva and you just can't find exactly what you want, or you've got an element that is slightly wrong, maybe the color's wrong or it's cropped wrong, check out my Canva Elements Top Hacks video so that you can easily get all the elements you need for your design to create exactly what you want to create.